Hi, my name is Mike Moore, and I'm turning 60.
Hi, Mike.
Hi,
Thanks
Tracy.
thanks for participating with us today.
Glad to.
Tell me something that is really inspiring you about turning 60, something positive, something awesome. How great is it to be turning 60?
Well, I'm in fairly good health, so that's definitely a positive. I don't feel 60. Don't feel that I'm old or beyond, ready for the retirement home.
How would you define old? You said old. How would you, if you don't feel old at 60, what would be old in your opinion?
I'm not sure anymore. I used to think it was, when I was younger, that it was when you turned 50 year old. But then as I got older, that line kept moving, and I'm not sure where that line is anymore.
So when you were younger, did you have an image of what you thought turning 60 would be?
I guess I kind of based it on my parents, what they were like at 60, at least my mother. And I thought, man, if I get that, that's not going to be the way I want to be at 60. I'm definitely not the way my parents were when they were near 60.
And how exactly were they?
Because they were an earlier generation, it just was more that when you got that age, you did certain things, you listened to Lawrence Welk and all that. That's not me.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Pretty much anything from classical to rap to everything in between. And
So you don't discriminate.
no,
You don't listen to
any
the same old stuff.
no, I like just about anything.
Let me ask you another question. Do you feel that women or men have a harder time with getting older? Turning 60.
I think they're probably equally, in different ways that we look at, turning 60 from different viewpoints. That women look at it maybe that they're lost their beauty because they're turning 60, and men maybe we've lost some of our manliness because we're turning 60. Probably equally amongst both of them.
Do you think men fear getting older because of when they retire and they don't work anymore? That they are going to lose their manliness or manhood from that?
Well, I'm actually looking forward to being retired, and I don't think that's going to affect my manliness. But I could see how it could affect somebody because you've worked all your life. You've gone to something every day. Now you don't have something to do if you don't fill it with something. Volunteering or second career. If you can find something that you like to do, that you're doing that.
And do you have things in mind that you want to do after you retire?
Definitely, we would definitely want to travel more than we're doing now.
Okay.
That's high on the list.
It seems to be high on the list for a lot of people. They don't have time to retire. I mean, time to travel.
No, it's definitely harder when you're working all the time and to take 3 weeks, 4 weeks and go someplace.
Right. What things are important to you now that are more important to you now than, say, 10 years ago? If anything.
My wife, family. As you get older, you start to realize that more. That not that family wasn't important, but as you get older, you realize some people are passing. That truly is something that you value. I think more. You take it more to heart.
Yeah, I was going to say values for sure. Sorry, you had a I don't know, space out there. Have your hopes and dreams and expectations changed over the years? And if so, how so?
Oh, definitely it changed from when I was a young guy. When you're young, you could think you can take on the entire world, and you change what you really want to do. And while work is something you have to do, I never put a lot of importance on it. When I'm at work, I work, but I find that I like the other side, and not the leisure time. That's become more important to work on that portion. That doing the leisure stuff is definitely something that is more of my focus.
Okay, well,
What does the word retirement mean? It means different things to different people. What does it mean to you? Exactly.
Not doing what my career is. It could mean starting a new career. It could mean just traveling. It could mean sitting out on my deck. I don't think so, but I guess for me, retirement is going to retire from my career. I'm open to anything after that.
Some people, when they hear the word retirement, they think solely of if they have enough money to be able to take care of themselves and their family and do all the traveling and things they want to do. How does that resonate with you?
Well, definitely, you always have to look at the money aspect. I mean, you got a finite amount of cash, and I guess you just kind of, I'm more of a, I hate to say it, a wing it type person, that I just figured somehow I'll be able, things will work out, because they do. I've worked them out, and somehow we'll get to where we want to be.
Not gonna stress about it too much.
No, I really don't.
Wow, when you figure that out, let me know.
Yeah.
The not stress part. Wow. Okay. At 60 is a milestone, as we all know, and some people like to create a bucket list. It seems because they feel like they're running out of time and they need to live more life and do more, so they create this bucket list so they can get things crossed off and do all this stuff. Do you believe in bucket lists, and do you have one?
Well, I'm with the group, The Usual Suspects, and we have a small bucket list of things that we do together that we check off, but nothing that, one of them I have to do. I'm not good with lists. I don't like to be that structured. I mean, I can just I like just to wing things. If we want to do something, let's set it up and let's do it. Let's not say, okay, oh my gosh, we got to go down this list. Because that would to me, it would be more stressful than just kind of enjoying things. Do what you want when you want it at the moment.
Living life.
Exactly.
Just living in the moment, perhaps.
Exactly.
And just living life and not worried about the pressure of, I have to do that.
Right.
Obviously, if there's things you want to do, you're just going to go do them.
Right, exactly. But if you got this list, it's like, oh, okay, we did number 1. Oh, we can't do number 2 yet. Maybe we can go to number 3, and then it's just like it becomes the list is what you're doing. You're not enjoying it because we got to get through this and get to the next thing on the list.
Right. So accomplishments, I think people, again, with that bucket list, that would be a sense of accomplishment. Do you feel like you've achieved everything you wanted to achieve in your life? Is there something that you really want to do that you haven't done?
Not that I can think of offhand. Again, I'm a spur of the moment person. So, like I said, planning has never been my strong suit.
Okay.
I just kind of go through life and try to do the best I can at the moment. Try not to screw things up too badly, but you live and learn. So my accomplishments are, I've done a lot of good things. I don't think I have too many people that have my name on their list.
Did I already ask you this? If knowing what you know now, would you do anything differently?
Well, I think we all would if we had the gift of being able to go back and change things or do something. There's always things you would like to change. And I think for the most part, no. Maybe spend more time with my parents before they passed.
Regrets?
I used to have regrets, but I just the older I've got, I've been kind of putting them to the side because you can regret a lot of things, and it's just, if you can't change the thing and you still regret it, all you're doing is making yourself miserable. Why bother?
I like that. That's a really big answer.
I mean, you can't, if you can't change something to make the outcome different and you're regretting it, why bother? You can't do anything with that.
If there is anything you could change or do differently, anything at all, what would it be?
Probably in my younger days, I would have traveled more. And when I did travel, I wish I would have enjoyed it more because I traveled on business, but my thing was airport to wherever business I was at, airport, cities around the world. And I didn't see anything except the hotel rooms and that. Probably change that.
and you're still working.
Yes.
Is there age discrimination within your company? Do you see that as something that's glaring? Like,
Nothing that's glaring. Uh, there's a lot of us that are pretty much the same age in my job, so I'd say no. I mean, I think we had a good mix of younger, middle aged, those of us who are older. So
treated fairly?
yeah, I think so.
Because of your age, you're not treated any differently
No,
than the younger ones?
definitely not.
That's awesome too. Wow, you're lucky.
Yes, I know. There's because you hear a lot of people that if they get laid off or something, they can't find a job. And you know that, I've went to interviews too where I've been too qualified for the job. It's like, well, no, my qualifications fit. I know what too qualified means. It's not the pay because the pay was good, but it's my age.
You mentioned something earlier about like a second career. Have you ever thought about a second career?
Yes, definitely.
And what is that?
I think it'd be something more on the artistic side. I mentioned earlier when we were talking, photography has become now another passion that I did when I was younger and kind of let it go by, and now I'm starting to get back into it. It's just something, it's enjoyable. It's got my good and bad moments of taking photos. Thank God for digital now. You can just throw it all away if it's not good and just take some more.
A quote I heard in a movie: "I feel so incomplete, like I'm supposed to be doing something." Any thoughts on that?
Only once in a while, if I'm laying on the couch, that, man, I really should be up doing something, fixing something. But otherwise, in general, no, not so much.
Any what ifs or should have done this? What if I would have done this?
Yeah, I'm sure I could list thousands of them what ifs. I mean, look back on anything, oh, I should have done this, or I could have done this. Again, if you think about all the things that you didn't do, it can drive you crazy. Just you gotta look back and go, yeah, I wish I would have done that, and just kind of leave it at that and just move on. I don't want to sit back and go think of all the things that I would have done, could have done. It's just going to make you kind of I don't know, sad, Just gotta kind of do what you want to do, and do as much as you can. The things you can't, let it go, I guess.
And age seems to be an obsession in our culture, and like looking younger, and everybody's focused on the youth, and older people are kind of, they're just old. How do you feel about that?
We've become kind of a throwaway society. I mean, just in general. That includes people too. I mean, we unfortunately don't do a good job of taking care of our elderly. I mean, now there's still, I'll call it the warehouse system for people that are old, can't take care of themselves. And I think sometimes people in general don't look towards people who are older for some knowledge or advice or anything like that, because you're old. What do you know? Well, we've done a lot of the same stupid things that you'll eventually do. And, if you can help somebody avoid some of that stuff, it's a good thing.
Sorry, I'm just like...
There's one question, and I might have missed it,
Okay.
where you were talking earlier about what would you say to kids today about being 60? Think about when we were 20, what we looked at 60, but now that we're 60, what would we tell 20-year-olds about turning 60?
60 is actually, I think, going to be pretty cool. I think it's just a good time. I mean, we have so much, we can do so much now. We're not, we don't have to listen to Lawrence Welk if we don't want. We can do more things. There's more things to do nowadays. And just because you turn 60 or even 70, there's still a lot you can do. It's not like you're not physically, you may not be able to physically do some things, but for the most part, there's a lot more things that you can do. I mean, they should just enjoy their lives. And especially when you're 60, you should enjoy it.
So when you do get older, there's still opportunities and dreams to be fulfilled, and
Oh, definitely. You don't,
those don't end because you age.
no, nothing, everything just doesn't stop because you turn 60 or 70 or even 80. Yeah, there are things you may not be able to physically do, but if your mind's sharp, there's plenty of things that you can do. Plenty of dreams that you can still have and fulfill. I think sometimes we put too much emphasis on when we turn 40, 50, 60, 70. I'm lucky. My brother is 10 years older than me, so every time he has a milestone, I have a milestone. So when I turned 30, he was turning 40. So he was always kind of leading the way. So it made it easier so I could see what was going to happen when I turned 60 when he turned 60. So
how is he doing now that he's turned 70?
didn't bother him in the least. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just another year.
Just a number?
Just a number.
And I'm sorry if I forgot earlier. Did you say any other 0 year affected you, or?
Actually, for me, the year that I feared the most was turning 55. That's the year my father passed away, when he was 55. I mean, granted, different circumstances, 2-pack a day, unfiltered smoker, for 30, 40 years. But still, as I approached that date, you start to think, every little thing, every time you sneeze, you thought, oh, something wrong with me? Something wrong with me? And that did bother me a couple of years before. And once I turned 55, I was like, okay, we're all good. We're all done with that.
You made it. No, I think probably a lot of people go through that same thing.
Oh yeah, especially 55 was young. Mother lived to she was in her mid 80s, so. But I still looked at that 55 as like, oh man, I dreaded that. Anything before it or after that, whatever.
Does it seem to you? How does it seem like all these years have just flown by? And here we are at 60. I sometimes struggle with that. Like, where did all those years go? Like in a flash.
Well, it does seem like that at times. That my gosh, I was just 50 or I was just 40. Or when you're watching a movie or something, you look, it's from 1990. That's 25 years ago. What? How does that happen?
Or like all these old aging rockers are like now
Oh,
70 and
Yeah,
late
the Rolling
70s,
Stones.
60,
Late 60s and 70s. It's like
72, Mick Jagger.
it's like
Rock.
really?
And he's still out there doing stuff, so yeah. But I
Exactly.
think that's all he knows how to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a hard time sometimes, like, where'd that time go?
Yeah, you kind of look and sometimes when you see something that kind of jogs your memory, it's just like, oh, I was doing that back. Has that been that long? It doesn't quite seem like it should be that long.
It doesn't. It doesn't. That's kind of mind-boggling, actually.
Maybe it's a good thing though, that it doesn't seem that long. That you're not measuring the years. That okay, I've done that's 25. Oh my gosh, that was so long ago. It's like, oh wow, that's a long time ago. Well, it doesn't seem that way.
So maybe that means a lot of good things have happened in that time that you're not like stressing about like the bad stuff. Like, oh, 25 years ago,
I actually used to, when I was younger, I used to worry about stuff. I learned that from my mother. Now as I get older, it's like I'm not going to try and panic. Not that I say I don't at times, but I try just to kind of just let things go. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't.
And can I ask you your feelings about mortality, death, and dying?
Well, unfortunately, I am going to die someday. There's no getting around that. No one can get around that. Try not to ponder that. It's going to happen. Don't think soon. But it's out there. I mean, one day it's going to die. I hope we all hope that you go to bed one day and you don't wake up and it's all over that way. And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But it's not something I obsess about. I know it's out there. Every once in a while you think about it just a little bit, and it's like, yeah, I'm close. I realize now I'm closer to the end than I am to the beginning. And that's sometimes you look the way the world is, and it's not always a bad thing to be closer to the end. I mean, some of the things I see going on, it's just like, people, can we just talk to one another? I mean, you kind of had that posting the other day about hostile people.
We did.
And I looked at it, it's like we no longer, as a society, seem to be able to just talk to one another. Even if we disagree about things. Used to be you could talk about politics even if you disagreed completely with somebody. Now you can't. It's like only my opinion matters. Unless you agree with me, it doesn't matter.
Do you think social media has a lot to do with that?
Oh yeah, everybody's an instant expert. Right away, oh yeah, I know what that is, or I'm right, or this is the opinion you should have. It's like, I think some of it, and it also kind of isolates us more, even though with the social media, you're out there more, but you're not talking to anybody really. I text somebody, I post on Facebook. Does anybody ever pick the phone up and say, "Hi, I'm Mike. Do you want to talk?" I mean, not a lot of people do that anymore. They'll send a message or just sit down with somebody and talk.
I guess with social media, people don't feel that they have to.
No.
They can hide behind the computer.
Exactly. They
But
can
the
be.
computer's also a great thing.
Oh, definitely. My gosh, I couldn't balance a checkbook without my computer.
Do you meet new people? Do you think it's a good thing for people our age to utilize as far as
Oh.
meeting people or joining new volunteer things or?
Definitely. It opens up more opportunities. You can meet more people. You can see more opportunities to do something. All over the country if you want, all over the world if you want to help somebody out or go do something somewhere. It's so much easier on the information side to get that.
What about dating online? What do you think about that for older people?
Boy, there's so many. Again, back to the people can be whoever they want on the internet. If I was in that position, boy, I'd probably be single and alone.
Speaking of relationships, relationships are important to you at this age? A committed
definitely.
relationship, being married, is that?
Oh, I love it. I tell you. Me and Karen have been together. We've known each other since we were 5 years old. Girl and boy next door. We went together as teenagers. We were apart for a few years. We've been together since 1978.
I think that helps when you're older to have a companion and someone.
I think so. I mean, she saves me from myself a lot of times because I can do some stupid stuff at times. Yeah, I really don't know where I'd be without her. I truly can't see myself because I've spent most of my life with her. I mean, first being neighbors and then in a relationship. So I don't really know what life would be like without her, and I don't think I want to know.
Right. That's great. That's a great love story, though. I mean, it sustains, and you are there for each other, and that's.
Yeah, I mean, you have good times, you have bad times, but man, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Good. Well, I'm happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, because a lot of people can't sustain it and can't.
Right, it's tough, it's hard. It hasn't been easy, but we've made it. I guess I'm glad.
A lot of people out there at this age, don't know what to do with themselves. They can't meet people, and I don't know. I think it's probably pretty difficult for a lot of people.
Oh, definitely. I mean, just to meet somebody you don't know anything about them, or just what they put out there, I think it would be very hard. I mean, believe it or not, a pretty shy person. And if to have to go out and date now, if Karen decided that, oh my God, what have I been doing for the last 30 years of my life, 40 years actually. But yeah, I wouldn't even know how to begin.
So it's a lot for your relationship.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
That's great. So what do you think is next for you in your life?
Like I said, I would like to get involved more on the artistic side of things. I mean, I think that probably was the way I probably should have went with a career, went to something completely different. So I think I'm going to try and do more and more of that. Who knows? Maybe I'll be making garden sculpture out of metal in the backyard. You never know.
You never know. That's good. And you have time. You're not worried about.
No, I don't like I said, is list time management. It's not my thing. I'm not very good at it.
It's good. Easy breezy.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to add to this? As far as age or
Turning-
60 or
Well, just that turning 60 is not a death sentence. It's just a number. I hate to say it, you're only as old as you feel. Yeah, there are mornings when I wake up, I feel 60. But for the most part, it's like, just enjoy life. It's too short. You're not going to live forever, so enjoy it.
I agree. What is it about turning 60 that bothers some people? Why are we so obsessed with getting older and worried about it? Why can't we just get on with the business of living?
Because it's a number. And people are, they're caught up in the number thing. Oh, it's 60. Nobody says, when I turned 41, that's a traumatic number. 40, 50, 60. It's just a different number. Doesn't make a difference.
But it just seems everything is so focused on, maybe just for women, because I'm a woman, this is what I see. It's like, we're supposed to look younger and look this way and all the facelifts and all the cosmetic surgery and we're just like afraid to be who we are.
And we should be who we are. I mean, boy, do I wish I could lose 20, 30 pounds? You betcha. But I like to eat, and occasionally I like a cocktail. So it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm never going to be svelte, thin Mike. I'm going to be this Mike. I'm finally kind of okay with that. I used to, when I was younger, actually, obsessed with it more than I do now. It's just like, this is who I am. Nobody should have to worry about it. It shouldn't be, especially with women. It's like, you are who you are. When you're 30, when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60, it shouldn't make a difference. We shouldn't say you have to be thinner, have a facelift. I mean, unless you want it. It should be what you want, how you want to look, what makes you feel good.
So good, bad, or in between, how do you really feel about turning 60 or being in your 60s?
I feel good. I don't fear it. I kind of looking forward to it. Because if somebody asks me my age and I tell them, they go, well, you don't seem like you're 60 or almost 60. It's like, no, I don't act like I'm supposedly a senior citizen. I don't feel that way.
How are we supposed to act? At
I'm not
60?
sure. I act like a goofball. That's me. I'll be that probably till the day I die.
So this is the new 60. We are the new 60.
I think it is, and I think the generation that'll come up behind us, their 60 will be different than our 60, as we were different from our parents, and them from their grandparents. I think it's just kind of an evolving thing that it's going to be. Every generation is going to have a different version of their 50, 60, and beyond. In some ways, the next generation, they'll probably be better as far as their faculties. Unfortunately, Alzheimer's is a concern as you get older. That maybe by that time there'll either be a cure or the fact that they've been more involved at times mentally, that keeping their mind a little sharper, that maybe their onset will be later if it happens at all.
So do you think young people, I'm trying to think what age I would, like 30-year-olds, do you think 30-year-olds think that 60 is old, or do you think they think 30 is old?
Some could think 30 is old. And I'm sure there's a good portion of them that would look at us and go, oh, you guys are just old. But then I could look at some 30-year-olds and say, man, why are you so old? You know, just you're acting like you're 100 years old.
That's true.
And then some people that are 60 will look at all these kids nowadays. Oh, you know,
So, so saying all that, we should just, all of us, stop thinking about the number and just live. It's hard to do, but
well, it is. I mean, you know, I'm not saying I never think about turning 60. You know that's, but not as much as I thought I would when I was younger. That, oh my God, when I get 60, oh, it's like now it's just like it's a number. Turn 60, we'll be in Las Vegas. We'll be enjoying me turning 60. It won't be sitting around here. Oh, kind of, I turned 60. It's not going to be like that. We're going to have an enjoyable time. So,
celebrate.
exactly.
But no, I don't know that when I was younger, I really thought about turning older or how, I don't think I ever really stressed about it. And I mean, this number seems a little daunting. But not as much as I thought it would. It's like it came and it went. It's like, okay, because what's the alternative? As Billy Crystal says, I like being on this side of the dirt.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's it. It's like there are worse things than turning 60. You know, if you're millions of things. I mean, 60, it's a number. Yeah. Do I wish I was 20? Yeah, probably not 20. Maybe 35, 40. But I'll take 60. It's I feel good. I feel good about myself, where I'm at. So I don't fear it.
Do you feel like you have a lot of wisdom to impart to our youth?
Oh God, wisdom in me? Yeah, actually no. Yeah, I try and at work. I try to mentor some of the younger people. At least some of the things that I've seen in my career, what you want to avoid or what you want to go. That to me is actually enjoyable. Maybe I'll take a second career as a teacher or something. Of that wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, there's your second group.
Yeah.
Mentoring youth. Because I think
Not a bad thing. I think there's a lot of call for it. We always like to look at what can governments do for us. Well, what can we do for people, or what can we do for our neighbor? Can we help them out? Can we help out the kid who maybe can't read? Spend an hour with that person. Helping. I mean, that may be something I'm going to do in the future. I don't know.